The search for the next Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court has been continuing this morning, with former Director of Public Prosecutions Philip Murgor facing the Judicial Service Commission panel. Well, the morning session has been punctuated by exchanges between the applicant and acting Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, arising from Murgor's application to have Mwilu recused from the panel. Our Vincent Odor has been following that session and joins us now. Vincent, this conflict has been simmering for some time now, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and you know, today it really exposed and it was seen publicly that the two really have their relationship. There is bad blood between the two, and that could be seen through the questioning process, whereby the two had to, exchange on a number of issues, even from the type of questions, the way the questions were being asked, and how even the other person felt he should have answered the question. This is what transpired on the floor of the JSC.
Acting. When I say acting, it means exactly what it is. When you run an institution and your term is based on awaiting the appointment of a substantive holder of the office, every single person in that office views you through a certain lens. You are temporary in that office. For example, if you took a decision that in some way affects them, there would be the expectation that if the process was not concluded by the time there was a new Chief Justice, that decision could be reviewed.
The law abhors a vacuum. There cannot be a vacuum, and I am not aware that the acts of an acting director, Chief Justice, would be reviewed on account of having been executed during the period of acting.
Then that way I will give you an answer that stands in a certain position.
That is the topic that we are covering right now. That actually is my area.
Madam, I will answer your question in the way that I see fit. So
okay.
Please give me a bit of time. I'm sorry, madam. Your question is not specific enough for me to answer it. Maybe I should put it this way.
Have you interacted with the 2019-2023?
I have it here.
Good.
But what I would like to say is this. I don't fault anything that you have done so far. The wheel has already been invented. So my job, as I come in, as you say, if God wills it, is to make sure it works.
Senior Counsel, yes. We are testing as a commission. You are having interacted with the policy and understood what it is we think will enhance access to justice between 2019 and 2023. We are not asking for a critique.
When it comes to his judicial philosophy, Murgor said that he will be a moderate judge, whereby when it comes to the judicial philosophy they employ when carrying out their work, he won't bank on being a conservative or a progressive, and he'll basically bank on using, what is called purposive interpretation when it comes to interpretation and application of the law and the Constitution. And he has said that he's the best candidate to really, or the antidote to the problems that have been dogging the judiciary since back then. And this is what he said when it comes to what are the challenges facing the judiciary, and what will be his priorities if he becomes the next Chief Justice.
There is a huge challenge. There is a huge challenge. For example, on the issue of capacity, which affects access to justice, it is greatly affected by the staffing issue. The staffing issue, and in particular, I'm not talking about the 40–50% to bring up the judiciary staff to 9,000. I'm talking about the judges that need to be appointed. And then I'm talking about the funding issues, which would then enable rollouts of ICT and everything else, and recruitment. The ship of that is the judiciary, which is a huge organization now, far larger than it ever was, is slowing down. It's grinding to some sort of halt. So it's not a question of improving, it's a question of what can I do, or what will I do to ensure that the system doesn't stop altogether.
The panel also sought to know his position and view on a number of hypothetical situations when it comes to interpretation and application of the law or the Constitution. And therefore the panel wanted to know his view when, if such situations, appear or become a reality before him as the Chief Justice, how is he going to handle them when it comes to interpretation and application of the law as the Chief Justice? And this is how he answered some of the hypothetical questions with regard to his view and also constitutionalism and its application.
If the president is removed under one of those articles, is he entitled to approach the Supreme Court? And how will you deal with that case? And that's why I was asking you the immunity of the president under 143.
My Lord, you are asking me to express a view on jurisdiction.
Okay.
If I would...
Let's go to the next question.
Yes, I can't.
Yes. And I want you to express your view. Does the deputy president enjoy the same immunity under 143?
Again.
And I want your view. I want you to answer, because the reason why we are here, we want you to know your views. We are not saying there is anything wrong with expressing your views.
There is absolutely everything wrong in expressing a view about a matter that may become a reality in due course, for whatever reason, or not a reality. If I was interviewing for Director of Public Prosecutions, I might have answered your question. But I am not interviewing for the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Okay.
I am now going to sit as a judge. I have no view that is worth putting out, because I must be seen to have a blank mind when I will hear anyone in such a dispute, on such a question.
He also promised to deal with the cartel in the judiciary, and also said when it comes to issues to do the challenges of proper or adequate funding in the judiciary, and also things to do with capacity in terms of the challenge of not having enough judges, especially the 40 judges who are supposed to be appointed by the president, but they haven't been yet. And he promised to take that to State House and talk to the president and the deputy president until that matter is solved.